You know, Yemen, genocide, United States, we've been refueling Saudi Arabia's planes for going on 3 years now, so Saudi Arabia could drop bombs on school buses and kill and slaughter Yemenis children. Well, apparently, Saudi Arabia hasn't even been paying us the full amount that they owe us, which means we're footing the bill for this genocide. Where's Jake Tapper? Where's Jake Tapper right now saying, how are you going to pay for it? The U.S. is paying more than it bargained for in the Yemen war. The Pentagon says that errors in accounting means Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates have not been properly charged for refueling. It's unbelievable. President Donald Trump, who repeatedly complains that the U.S. is paying too much for the defense of its allies, has praised Saudi Arabia for ostensibly taking on Iran in the Yemen war. Turns out, however, the U.S. taxpayers have been footing the bill for a major part of the Saudi-led campaign, possibly to the tune of tens of millions of dollars. The revelation, detailed in a Defense Department letter obtained by The Atlantic, is likely to raise further ire among senators who have grown ever more critical of Saudi conduct in the war, which has resulted in a growing number of civilian casualties and U.S. support for it. I don't know if that's true. I mean, most of these senators are rightly upset about the Khashoggi murder and assassination, and it just came out that his final moments were screaming, "I can't breathe," before they dismembered him. Still unbelievable that the U.S. has done nothing about this under Trump. Since the start of the Saudi-led intervention in March 2015, and up until last month, the U.S. provided mid-air refueling for Saudi-led coalition aircrafts that then flew missions related to the Yemen campaign. Well, you should also write in there, The Atlantic, drop bombs on school buses and weddings, killing children and women. Getting heavy U.S. tankers into the air and carrying out this job is enormously expensive. The recipient country is required by law to pay the costs, but that isn't what happened here. In a mea culpa of sorts, the Pentagon's November 27th letter states that while the Defense Department believed Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates has been charged for the fuel and refueling services, they in fact had not been charged adequately. How inadequately, the Pentagon will not say yet. It is currently calculating the correct charges, the letter states. And by the way, this whole accounting error by the Pentagon, this is the same Pentagon that literally never has been audited. This is something Rand Paul and Ron Paul have talked about rightly. When's the last time the Pentagon's been audited? It's a rhetorical question. I mean, it's really unbelievable. Accounting errors. On Thursday, the Pentagon confirmed the letter's contents to The Atlantic. Although DoD has received some reimbursement for in-flight refueling assistance provided to the Saudi-led coalition, U.S. Central Command recently reviewed its records and found errors in accounting where DoD failed to charge the SLC adequately for fuel and refueling services. Commander Rebecca Rabarek, a Pentagon spokeswoman, told The Atlantic. The Pentagon's letter says that it reached these conclusions after Senator Jack Reed, the top Democrat on the Senate Armed Services Committee, made a specific request for information. Reed, along with 7 other Democratic senators, raised the question of reimbursement in a letter to Defense Secretary Jim Mattis in March. The Pentagon's response, admitting errors in accounting, arrived the day before a key Senate procedural vote on withdrawing U.S. support for the war effort. Quote, "It is clear that the department has not lived up to its obligation to keep Congress appropriately informed or its responsibility to secure timely reimbursement," Reed said. U.S. provided aerial refueling assistance was provided to the Saudi-led coalition for more than 3.5 years, activities that likely cost tens of millions of dollars. We must ensure that U.S. taxpayers are fully reimbursed for that support. So, I mean, there's so many things wrong with this. First of all, The fact that Jack Reed, that senator, and others' main issue with this is that, oh, we just haven't been reimbursed adequately. No. Who's going to reimburse, the Yemenis children and these women at weddings who have been assassinated by our weapons, by the way? They're dropping our bombs, and those planes are being refueled by us. So, yes, as a taxpayer, I am annoyed that our money is being spent on crimes against humanity. But the main point is not the reimbursement. The main point is the genocide that we are accomplices to. So, these senators and stuff, you want to be upset about something? How about you be upset about the genocide, which finally more real images showing essentially children with their bones coming out. They're so skinny and starving. But what's interesting is, when Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez gets interviewed on CNN, or Bernie Sanders gets interviewed, or any progressive gets interviewed talking about free public college, Medicare for all, and, Green New Deal, all these things. Oh my God, immediately. How are you going to pay for this? How are you going to pay for this? Progressive? Good things for humanity. Healthcare for all. How are you going to pay for this stuff? Well, I've not heard anything about these accounting errors. Who's going to pay for these accounting errors? I'm sure Anderson Cooper. That's the first thing he's going to be asking tonight. Jake Tapper has often asked about Medicare for all. Well, who's going to pay for these things? And as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez pointed out, I believe, who did she interview with? Was it Chris Cuomo? I don't remember who. She pointed out, you're always very, very quick to ask, how are we going to pay for things that actually help working people or help the climate and the planet? Well, we're never quick to ask, how are we going to pay for these bank subsidies or these oil subsidies or this corporate welfare or the endless wars that we're now not even being reimbursed for. See, it's all about, how are you going to pay for the things that I, the $1 million anchor, don't give a shit about because I'm sitting pretty in my ivory tower? How are you going to pay for those things? It's never about, how are you going to pay for the things that, oh, my parent company that signs my paycheck, they like the endless war. Or, oh, they like tax cuts for themselves and the wealthy. Can't make it up. Can't make it up. I'm going to look more into this story because it's outrageous. I'd like to see how many more accounting errors are we, the taxpayer, paying for? And how many more people are dying or starving across the country, across the world, because of these errors we're making? Because you want to know something? It's not an error when you are an accomplice to genocide. Okay? You want to talk about the threat of Iran? You could do that till you're blue in the face. But the threat of Iran does not give the United States license to basically produce mass famine of a whole country of people and kill tens of thousands of them and starve children and murder and drop bombs on school buses and weddings. This is genocide. Straight up. You want to talk about, oh, Putin is a slaughterer. He assassinates journalists, all these things. Yeah, he does. But what are we doing in Yemen? What are we doing in Yemen? And when are we going to demand that the media and the politicians stop asking how you're going to pay for things that actually help the people they're elected to represent? And the corporate media, by the way, the media exists not to enlighten the wealthy and not to protect the wealthy, but to protect and enlighten the common folk. Dare I say, the proletariat.